A push for more classical hematologists was the focal point of the ASH Practice Partnership Lunch. Panelists explored solutions to compensation models and how to get trainees interested in classical hematology. Joining me are Dr. Chancellor Donald, the chair of this session, alongside one of our panelists, Dr. Alfred Lee. First of all, doctors, this was an amazing presentation, lots of wonderful information. But Dr. Lee, I wanted to ask you, first off, what are the solutions to recruiting future classical hematologists?
I think there's several things that we can do to try to recruit classical hematologists. Since 2017, we've been studying the hematology workforce in the U.S., and what we found was that early exposure, mentorship, and also role modeling were really important in trying to entice people to pursue hematology-focused careers. So I think if we all make ourselves available, make ourselves present, get involved with medical students and residents and fellows and mentoring them, and really show them what it's like to have a career in hematology, I think those are some major steps we can take forward that will impact recruitment in our field.
But it's no different than a lot of other careers. You know, you had the ASH study that you conducted, and the responses were things like mentorship and work-life balance and salary and all of those things.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. A lot of these principles are the same things that you'll find in other fields. I think where we've had a challenge, particularly in hematology and classical hematology especially, is that role modeling element. I think over the years, a lot of people feel that the whole concept of classical hematology kind of lost its footing and its identity. And a large part of what we're all trying to do with ASH now and everywhere is to reclaim that identity again and embrace those things.
But as you're going out to recruit, there seems to be a misperception on the part of some of the folks you're trying to recruit, right?
No, absolutely. And a huge part of what we're all trying to do individually and collectively is to correct those misperceptions. So for example, there are lots and lots and lots of career opportunities in classical hematology right now. Lots of opportunities all across the spectrum in academic medicine, in clinical practice. You can be anything from a basic scientist to a pure clinician. You can work in an academic center, you can work in the community. You can do so many things in classical hematology. And I think that's what all the efforts in ASH are designed to try to demonstrate.
Thank you, Doctor. And Dr. Donald, I wanted to ask you a question about the fact that this session, was such an important session. What do you think the impact of this discussion is on the future of hematology?
So, first of all, to have a session with Dr. Lee, with Dr. Lawson, with Dr. Garcia, people at the forefront, it's wonderful. The entire scope of the ASH Practice Partnership is to allow for clinicians to connect with ASH to make sure that the policies we advocate for are actually what we need. So we don't certainly want to be in a silo where we're thinking one way and the rubber just never meets the road. So we are really, really pleased that we have the ability to have these conversations that can push things forward to ensure that this important field of classical hematology is advocated for, is supported, is maintained, and pushed forward, ultimately for the better care of patients.
As the chair of the committee practice, this is very near and dear to you, of course.
Absolutely. We, of course, have extraordinary scientists, extraordinary clinicians, but the actual practice, especially, we never want to forget about the community where so many people get taken care of. We want to make sure that the community continues to be a part of all of ASH's efforts because ultimately that's where the majority of patients are cared for.
Thank you so much, doctors. We really appreciate your time and your leadership on this initiative.
Outstanding. Thank you.